Well, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Wherever you are in the globe, I hope that you are in good health, in good spirits. For the for those who are in the United States, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday. I am grateful for many things. I am, for example, grateful for many of you who make it a point to tune in and listen and interact with us each Thursday. Tuesday, Thursday. Where's my head? Well, Thursdays I'm with Dan, Mr. Smelly. You can see me there. But Tuesdays we're here for Effluvium. This is the 11th episode. And Rachel will be joining me at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our guest for this installment is Aram V. And the format for this week is going to be a bit more organic. We're going to be doing sort of a show and tell of sorts. So there's no really specific approach to what we'll discuss, but we'd like to share some of the fragrances that have been maybe in rotation recently, that have been the ones that we've been reaching frequently, new acquisitions, new discoveries. And of course, what we will do is start with the first impressions. We have three very special first impressions. One from a TikTok influencer, one from a beloved fragrance marketplace, and one from a new niche brand. They were so kind as to send me a generous sample because I'm an influencer, apparently, and I influence people to buy things. I didn't know that. That's according to them. So I didn't want to say no. I thought to myself, why not? I'll give it a try. And I'll be giving it a try live. My first impressions, I don't know any of the notes. In fact, I don't know the notes or the background on any of these. Maybe I looked at one of them briefly on Fragrantica for shits and giggles to see what the story was behind it. But yeah, I'll be doing these three first impressions and just checking in with folks here. Thank you very much, sir. I like my caps. This is a very much a Boston style scally cap. Aziad, that is the next one that I would like to try, Philip, from Parfum d'Impair. I am currently loving Wazamba. It's a really great coniferous dried fruit incense that I really like. Alex, how are you? And how are you, Antonio? Thank you for stopping by. And Adam, thank you for coming. Hi, Eugene. I just saw you were live a little while ago as I was preparing. Thanks for coming into the stream and viewing and checking things out. Same with you, my friend. Great video, recent video on the old money and new money sense. I very much enjoyed it. Hello, Brian. Welcome. And welcome, Aaron. You're going to sew razor blades? Hello, Alfonso. Hello, Jisan. Yes, DJ evolves into JJ. I may at some point share some of my wild escapades from the past when I was a DJ. If I actually do an upgrade of my StreamYard, I'll be able to share photos, videos, have cool intros. I can add music. But I need a little help from you folks if you are so kind. If you could buy me a coffee or two or three or however many you're willing to buy, it can help me to upgrade for 2023 so I can add a lot more to these live streams and perhaps have even more streams to share with you in the future, in the coming year. Private eye. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Peaky Blinders, but I'd love to be explained. L'Envol de Cartier, very nice. EDT, EDP. Hello, Micah. Welcome. And Mistillo de Rochas. I wish I had that. It's very hard to obtain these days. Quai de Clitzia, very nice. I have my eye on a bottle of that, actually. Ah, very nice. Hi, Skells. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, a Skellsgiving. You're most welcome. EDP, very nice, very nice. We have 39 people currently on. Thank you to everyone. I can't express enough how grateful I am to have all of you tune in and share in this experience. It's wonderful. I really appreciate it. All right, so we'll get things started. So the first one I have here is this. Yeah, it's this. It's cloudy. It's nebulous. It's something. Yeah. It's yeah. Cetaphil. Something else. So let me tell you a little bit about this. This is actually a release from a TikTok influencer. He goes by the name of Jury's Fragrance. And this is called Bond Street. And according to this gentleman, this has the best projection, lasts all day, bruh. Trust me. Smells super expensive, classy, rich, and luxurious. I'm going to remove that comment. As much as I love you, Alex, we can't have you up there the entire time. Classy, rich, and luxurious. And when you walk into a room, everyone is going to smell you. Okay? This isn't like a fragrance you've seen before. Never mind smelled before, seen before. It will last you the whole day and the whole night. It sticks to your skin. It makes an impression. You're going to be the best smelling guy in the room. Remember, in the room. When you wear this. A very, very powerful and long-lasting fragrance. It's different. It's a musk. And it's very cheap. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Here goes nothing. This has a lot to live up to. Oh, great. It's a little dabber. Okay. I am so scared that this is going to pour on me. But I'm sure it's great. It's going to smell super expensive, classy, rich, and luxurious. So if it spills on me, then I shouldn't be too disappointed. All right. Here we go. No. Okay. I'm going to put it on my hand now. I'm putting it on my hand. It's quite viscous. It feels a bit like Elmer's glue. That's yes. Oh, no, you guys are setting me up. I have to go into this with as little bias as possible. I haven't even smelled it yet. Here we go. Oh, good God. Yeah. It's classy. Oh God. This is so fucking atrocious. It's oh God. Oh my God. It smells like this smells like it would like corrode the chrome off of a trailer hitch. I am so scared for my skin right now. I mean, I just got diagnosed with asthma. What am I doing to myself? This is horrific. So let me tell you a little bit about what I'm picking up here. This is just a really potent concoction of I detect like ambrostenide or norlimbinol, ambroxan, ambermax, lots of musk, a lot of galaxolide, a lot of like it's like fucking brown noise. If you ever heard of brown noise, it's when all these frequencies, it's kind of like when you mix colors, and when you get a certain amount of colors together, it will eventually make a brown. You make that orange dark enough, you get a brown. And they call it the brown sound. This is brown smell. It's not that kind of brown smell. It doesn't smell like feces at all. But it's really it's busy and not pleasant. Oh, it's something that somebody whipped up at home. Like somebody is toying around with all of the aroma chems that they know are high impact, that will project a great deal, that will last a long time. They basically took all of them without really having any sort of equal measure or understanding how each works with the other components. And they just throw all together. It's like, it's barbaric. It is so bad that I think this is going to be the first impression that I literally will need to wash off at some point tonight. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, going back to not that it was an ad copy necessarily, but when you walk into a room, everyone is going to smell you. They will. This isn't like a fragrance you've seen before. Definitely not like one I've seen before, and not one that I've smelled before. It will last you the whole day and the whole night. That's a nightmare. That could come true. And it sticks to your skin. Yep, it does, because it is Elmer's glue. And it makes an impression. What kind of impression would it make? That is something that you could discover on your own, should you dare to try this and wear it out in public or around people who you love. It will be cruel to the people who you love, but nonetheless, you can find out what that impression might be. And it is very, very powerful. He was correct. It is very, very powerful. It is this tiny dab right here is filling up my whole room. And it's really scratchy. It's really solvent smelling. There's nothing luxurious about this to my nose at all. It's very objectionable. It's different. It's a musk, among other things, and it's very cheap. Yes, I will agree with that. It is very cheap. So that is the first one. I already have a good idea of where that will rank out of the 3 this evening. Okay, we'll look at the chat here. I'm sorry. I have to be honest. These are my first impressions. Hey, maybe it will dry down better later if I can endure it on my skin, if I can keep it on my skin. What the hell is it viscous? This is no like a tar viscous. This is no like I'm putting on sort of like a nice perfume oil. It doesn't even have the right kind of oiliness that like those Whole Foods oils has. This is sticky, and it's just leaving this slick, this oil. I don't think it could be picked up on, or maybe it can be. Do you see like a little discoloration? Oh, wait, let me do it this way. Can you see the, oh, there you go. See how shiny it is? This is not evaporating anytime soon. Oh my God, it's ghastly. Look at that. So stop it. No, I'm trying. You know what? I do want to try to give positive vibes, but not everything that's going to be reviewed or smelled. Probably. I do have some rubbing alcohol at least. Pep, this is from Jury's Fragrance, our collaboration of Jury's Fragrance with whoever, called Bond Street. And Jury's Fragrance is it's an Instagram influencer. You will not be able to wash it off. Oh, Lord help me. He'll be coming soon enough, my friend. Duncan, we have our guests come in about 20 to 30 minutes in, and we still have 2 more first impressions. Does it also cure impotency? Well, it sure doesn't look like this is impotent, does it? Hey, sorry. These are just the words that come out of my mouth. I don't have a thesaurus at my side. As good as that French house. Oh, are you talking about, oh my God, wood issue? Wood issue? Would I won't. Ever. Have we found something worse than Invictus? Let me tell you something. Invictus, it smells like something that you could wear to an opera compared to this. I shall pour the entire perfume. I think you're referring to the Perfumer's Apprentice kit. Yes, the Perfumer's Apprentice into a bottle. Yeah. Hey. My first chemistry kit. Oh God, that's how TikTok would smell it. Oh God, it's so painful. I'm not going to wash it off until I get through the other two. You people are awful. No, I'm going to use rubbing alcohol. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. Schlonghammer, your support is much appreciated. I'm bringing you on to Paco. That's me. I'm an influencer. Actually, Hyrax by Zoologist would be much more appropriate for a spray and go. That would be a good daily driver compared to this. Okay. Trying to be positive all the time can be toxic. Move through the motions as you feel them. Lily, I agree with you 100% on that. And I do believe in spreading positive energy and avoiding a lot of negativity and cynicism and toxic behavior. But one needs to be honest at times. And sometimes honesty is difficult. It isn't kind all the time. So I agree with you. What is you? Hi, Fernando. Use olive oil to wash it off. Yeah, I have some downstairs. I could try that off. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. And the next one, which will probably be a walk in the park compared to this, is, and so many of you who like to get a good discount are familiar with this one. This is from FragranceNet. It's called Exceptional, because you are tailor-made for men. I'm going to read the inside of it. Limited time offer, 20% off your next Hey, anybody who's in the know knows you always get 37% off. So come on, FragranceNet. A distinctly masculine fragrance featuring a stimulating and sparkling introduction. A well-balanced, spiced middle. The middle? Spiced middle. And an elegant, sophisticated dry down. Exclusively at www.fragrance.com. Okay. All right. This is going on my other hand. This is what we call masochism. There's a good word for you, Duncan. Masochism. That's what I'm experiencing right now. This is what I'm doing to myself. I'm being masochistic. I just chucked. Yes, these are the ones that you try. There must be so many of these in landfills. It's so sad. But I'm going to actually, I never even bothered to try it. But I'm trying it now. Okay. This is actually quite the palate cleanser compared to the monstrosity that is still glowing on my other hand. It is pretty much like a generic dihydromercenol fougere nothing burger kind of thing. Like it's pleasant. It's getting me away from this horror a little bit that is still so wet on my skin. It's just like between this and the way this looks, this is a highly unnecessary object. That would be funny if this one ends up winning tonight. Exceptional is not exceptional by any means. It is a very generic. It smells kind of like a more modern Cool Water mixed with Acqua di Gio and an Ambrox kind of background. It's pretty bad, but it is like a dream compared to whatever this is. And that's saying something. Okay. Third, and this is Masi. Masi is a house that started in Brooklyn, New York, and the woman is very kind. Chiamaka, I believe is her name, and she was kind enough to offer this sampling of a fragrance called, and this will be amusing to people who've been tuned in the past few weeks, it's called High Times. You know me and my marijuana fragrances. You know how much I just love them. I love smelling like I, just spliffed. Especially when they smell more like guava and passion fruit. But maybe this has nothing to do with marijuana. Maybe this has nothing to do with it. There's no hemp, marijuana, or whatever, cannabis. We'll put it over here. Ooh. Really drying this one off. I got a lot going on here, people. This kind of reminds me of something that would be released by Nasomato, maybe. This definitely does have something that might be akin to a marijuana note. It's very herbal, just a pungent. But then there's like there's some sort of oud base that's sort of throwing me off. I was told this was going to be similar to a more classic fragrance, but to me, the smell's very. I mean, a classic is like 2008. Then yeah, classic for that time period. Yeah, very ashy, sour, pungent. It's a much more convincing cannabis note than the last couple of fragrances that I smelled that have a cannabis note, and I'll give it that. But I'm learning that I'm just not excited about having a cannabis note in fragrance by any means. So out of the three so far that's in the running, we'll revisit those. Actually, this has actually been disqualified. We're not revisiting this. I am not going to torture myself and keep this bilge on my skin. So after I bring my guests in, I'm going to be washing this off. All right. So, Aram, if you want to log in at any time that you're ready, we'll bring you in to chat. In the meantime, I'll go back to the discussion here. Hello, my friend. I got a frag that has one review in Fragrantica. Not sure if I should be happy or concerned. Oh, no. Don't worry about there being one review. There's plenty of brilliant fragrances that have just yet to be reviewed, even if they've been in production for a few years or several years. I mean, there's a lot of vintages that only have one review, two reviews. And some of that can have to do with the fact of when the actual fragrance was added to the database. Sometimes a fragrance that was released X amount of years ago, it only enters the database recently. So that means you're going to have fewer reviews. So I'd be interested in what it is. Has there ever been a first impression series that made us laugh so I had a feeling there would be some sort of reaction. And I was betting on amusement. Puff the Magic Dragon. When my right hand becomes green and scaly, it's time to wash that off. I will be sure to wash it off well before that. All right. So we got Aaron in backstage here. We're going to be bringing him in just a second. Ooh, some new acquisitions, Basic Malarco. You will be joining us next week, so you should share some of them with us. That would be very exciting. All right. So without further ado, we're going to be bringing in Aram. We're going to be talking about, I'm going to actually let him take over because that's how horrible this is. I need to wash it off. So I'm going to bring him in and let him hold the fort. And then we're going to talk about just some fragrances that have been on our minds recently. Aram, I'm going to bring you in here. Hello, my friend.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm doing okay. Would you mind holding the fort for me? I know that you're a guest and you're going to be a fish out of water for a minute, but I guarantee you I'll be back. I just need to get this shit off of my skin pronto. I'll be back, folks.
Go ahead. So that was, what is that, Bond Street? Okay. He's going to go wash it off. Then we'll talk. So how's everybody doing? I'll be honest with you. Well, when he gets back, I'll let him know. I was a little nervous. I mean, we've been talking, we were trying to figure out what we're going to talk about today. So I'm just going to bring up some, I guess, reaches that I've been, colognes that I've been reaching for lately. Hey, Soto. Alex, what's up? Dave, Lily, Skels, Mark, Alan, Basic. So I'm in Miami, so I can't really, Margie, I can't really wear a lot of the heavy fragrances that I could, but I choose not to because they become a little cloying sometimes and a little too heavy. But what's up, Eugene? And but I am going to New York this week. I'm going to go to Scent Explore, so at least it's going to be a change of the weather. So I'm going to be trying to get some of my heavier fragrances to wear. Good. JJ's back. How you doing, buddy?
Oh God, it's still there, but it is reduced considerably. Yeah, no. Be careful with things like this, people, because there are a lot of people who are, they're amateur and they're putting things together. You don't have good quality control. You don't have, you just don't know what you're putting on your skin. Just be very careful with stuff like this. This is something that I would not recommend that anybody put on their skin. I don't know if it really far exceeds the recommended guideline or the limit for certain materials. So if I have any reactions to this, I will do a follow-up. Okay, Aram, we'll move along from
It
that.
sounds like a banger. It sounds like
It's a
run out and
banger,
get
all
it.
right. Yeah, it's some banger juice.
It's like you
It's
try
not,
it, so you try it, so we don't have to, right? That's what it's
yeah,
saying.
it's the sacrifice that I make. I'm a martyr for the community. All right. So
I'm like because at first I was listening to you and it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of off-putting, this and that. I'm like, okay, this is kind of my vibe, I'm kind of digging it. It's just like, wait a minute. Then you're like, wait, no, like in a bad way, in a totally bad way.
I think we share the kind of off-putting that we enjoy, that kind of off-putting. This is a very like post-apocalyptic off-putting. There's nothing animalic about it. There's nothing weird and sweaty and visceral and feral about it. It's all like really scary, synthetic, and powerful, and headache-inducing. It's like a fever dream. It's like I feel like I'm in like a David Cronenberg movie, or like it's so bad. It really does make seem exceptional in comparison. So, Aram, what is your biggest infatuation fragrance? I can't even speak because of that shit. What is your biggest infatuation fragrance wise right now?
Infatuation fragrance. You're talking about notes or a fragrance, or
it could be a single fragrance, or it could be a certain note or a chord. It's open-ended. You tell me.
I've been liking things with jasmine lately, and that have a kind of a little bit of a where it's not animalic, but it's a little bit off-putting. I don't know if it's like I think it's a note that's been like the comment on some of the fragrances that I've been kind of like saying, ooh, what is this? And usually it's a niche fragrance or whatever. And usually I'm looking at stuff, vintage stuff, but I think that jasmine has been one. Vetiver has always been one of my favorites. Vetiver and tobacco, but jasmine has been something I've been leaning towards lately. I don't know if you like jasmine, but
sure do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, a certain jasmine fragrances I would have more of a difficult time wearing. Some do come off as a little bit more feminine than I feel comfortable wearing publicly, but I would still, enjoy it at home. But others are definitely unisex fragrances that I would rock outdoors and then in public. So, are there any in particular?
No, I haven't really. There was one that Madi and I went to Osme, and she sniffed something, and she knew that it was something that it was towards what I like, the animalic kind of things, and she smiled. I was like, "What is?" I go, "This is jasmine, isn't it?" She goes, "Yep, that's what it is." But I didn't get the name of it. But let me see. I can't. I have some fragrances here, but more of a. But I haven't brought anything that's jasmine base or anything that's like that. But I have brought a bunch of them here.
Yeah. So just show and tell. This will be organic. This is going to be a less structured episode. You could just show me some things and talk about them.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Because, man, I don't want to mess up, man. You're like, you know your stuff, and I just don't want to mess up, So
you don't have to be nervous around me. Trust me. If you get to the point, I try to say this in a way that doesn't make me sound like a cocky asshole, but like, if I'm inviting you here, it means that I can tell that there is a passion and a true dedication to the hobby or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. I'm not sizing people up on their knowledge or lack thereof. It really isn't about that. It's about the way that people can express their enthusiasm and how they feel about fragrance. So you don't have to be nervous about it at all.
No, it's just I know that your channels, you've been devoting a lot of time to it. I'm really happy for you, and I'm rooting for you. So but yeah, with the notes and stuff, I have Fragrantica if I have it here, but for the most part, I'm gonna go off what I guess the notes that I'm picking up and maybe how I feel when I'm smelling them, and I'm sure that you've probably smelled a lot of these, but one of them, which Rudy, Time to Musk Up, he recommended, and I'm so glad he did, was Eau de Hermes, this one over
Mm.
here, that I
Mhm.
think could very, 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 that's something that I've been reaching for. I made a little dent there lately for the fall. Sub Duncan, Allie. And it's just beautiful. I wish, and usually I don't care, I wish that this lasted a little longer.
Mm.
But man, it's so good, and it's so amazing in Florida also, But for me, I get like the citrus leathery kind of thing, and I do get a kind of what's it called? Kind of equipage a little bit.
Equipage? Yeah.
Equipage, a little bit of the DNA in this.
Mm.
Do you get that too, or no?
Well, I think Guy Robert was under the tutelage of Edmund Rudnitska. So through that tutelage, he probably was inspired by him to create similar bases.
Mhm.
So Guy Robert composed Equipage, and Rudnitska did Eau d'Hermes, and I can see the similarity.
Yeah.
And in most Hermes fragrances, you have this core base that suggests some form of leather. It is a running theme. It runs through every one of their fragrances, even if leather is not listed on whatever notes pyramid you find, it's there. So
Is it like
odor,
a textured or something, like a texture or something,
it
right?
could be sort of like a texture, the suggestion of it. It could be approached in so many different ways. It could be dry, it could be oily. Um, with Eau d'Hermes, it is thought that with that composition, it was intended to evoke the interior of an Hermes bag, like a yeah.
Okay.
So the citrus in it is lifting all the other elements. You have those embellifer notes, I call them. They could be cumin, they could be caraway, they could be anise. What they do is they add that texture. Those are very textural notes. And Eau d'Hermes is one of my favorite fragrances of all time.
Right. Okay. It's amazing. I'm so glad that I picked it up, and I'm even thinking about getting another bottle. And I don't know if the newer formulation, maybe you do the one that doesn't have the copper top, but it's just gorgeous. It's a
Still
beautiful
smells great.
fragrance. It's one of those timeless ones, right? And this is from 50s, yeah, 51,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an old one.
1951. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would say if you wanted a backup bottle, if you can try to find the ones that I have one. I have a backup. This is one where I have a backup. I have the clear cap. The clear
Okay.
cap is what I find to be actually a bit more substantive and lasts longer than the brass. Or what would you call that? What color is that? A
Is that
brass? Copper.
copper?
Copper.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? Brass? They're not cheap.
Close
I'm
I
talking
can get
about
here.
copper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's lovely too. So it's lovely you have that bottle, but if you can find whatever bottle has a transparent cap, because that's a really great run for Eau
Okay.
d'Hermes. However, I have smelled the more recent ones from the Hermes bottles where all of them have moved from silk, from what do you call it, from printing the name right onto the bottle to the labels.
Hmm.
That one's great as well. It's
Okay.
it's no slouch. It's quite nice. So if you have a difficult time finding a clear cap, you could go with that, but give it some time. Be patient. See if a clear cap one comes up, and then compare the two, and you'll find that you'll be a lucky guy because you have like two really great runs of Eau d'Hermes. And older bottles are so prohibitively expensive.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy. I got lucky with this one for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very fortunate. But that is one of my top 5 all-time favorites.
All right.
Odor mints.
Good.
Yeah.
You want me to pick another one? You want me to, or you want to do?
You want me to pick one? I have a bunch of stuff just sitting here waiting to be let's see. So, okay. So my friend Ken Friedman from Instagram told me about this little number here. Does anybody who's tuned in know what this is?
It's a cool bottle.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool bottle, right?
Yeah.
I guess I could blow it up and have. I'm still getting used to having those options. So this is Cashmere Mist from Donna Karan. This was released in 1994. And this is one of the earlier uses of cashmeran. It was, I think, one of the earliest uses of cashmeran. And this smells musky, like all of the best kind of laundry musks rolled up into one. It's just, it's like you're swaddled in it when you wear it. I have like a little scent strip here from earlier. It's one of the best clean smelling scents, but there's nothing, aquatic about it. It's not really like it's not really a wet scent. It's very much like the best smelling laundry scent you could find. It's a little powdery too, ever so slightly floral. And it's definitely unisex. But this is one that I picked up. This is the EDT version. And I'm liking it. And this went for $24. So it's a steal. It's a really cheap one. But it doesn't smell cheap. It's a great one. Does anybody...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask if any... Oh, very nice. My friend knows about Cashmere Mist. Yes, it's not pretentious at all. This is a very approachable and comforting, warm embrace kind of fragrance. Yeah. So that's been sort of, I've been reaching for this one lately to smell and enjoy. So let me take myself off of full screen. That's
so that. With that one, you mentioned laundry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering if it, Issey Miyake kind of reminds me of that kind of that laundry smell. Issey Miyake Pour Homme.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one that kind of that reminds me of that kind of like dampiness of it. I don't know. It's like a very interesting feeling that these fragrances sometimes they're thick, heavy, airy, citrusy.
And it feels like the warmth of taking the clothes like right out of the dryer. Mm-hmm. And you just get that. And, that might sound a little, mundane, but it's not, because I think very few fragrances can pull that off. But somehow Cashmere Mist does. And that's why I like it. It's a good one. I liked, I'm glad that I got the recommendation. Yeah. So that's my choice. And on to you. Let's just ping pong back and forth.
This one over here is Karan this is pour un homme, but this one over here is the 2014 Millésime 2014 one. Have you ever heard of this one?
Yeah. That's like a more intensified and somewhat ambery version of the original Pour un Homme de Caron. I don't have it, but I have smelled a sample of it. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's much thicker and much richer than the original. The original is a little bit damp. I think dankier and maybe a little bit lighter. But this one's a lot heavier on the vanilla. But it's still like this. What I love about Caron is just how simple it is. It's just very simple notes, and it's like, what is it? Lavender, musk, and something else.
The three are lavender, vanilla, and musk. And there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little touch of heliotrope, a little dash of oak moss. But those are the three. That's the core accord.
This one is the one, the original. The original was the one that I really did not like when I first got into the fragrance stuff. My friend was recommending it. I'm like, man, this smells like a bathroom. This smells whatever. There's no way I'm going to put this on my skin. And it's just something that eventually you just kind of learn to love it, right? I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
happens. A lot of these fragrances that are a little challenging at first, you start to learn, you learn to love it, you start
Mm-hmm.
acquiring it. You know, just like when you're drinking a beer, first time you spit it out, right? When you don't know what the hell you're expecting, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, now let me lean into it and let me try it. Let me see what the big fuss is about, whether it comes to wine, kind of acquire the taste of it, you know. So, so yeah, the hell yeah, this one right here is great. This one's the thing is, I always hate to. It's difficult for me to recommend stuff that's kind of hard to pick up. But I think that any one of these, whether it's the Porum, because this one over here is pretty similar to the OG, but it's just a
Right.
little thicker and it's a little bit rare. But this one I've been reaching for the fall. And I was mentioning before you came in that I'm going to be going to New York for Scent Explore, whatever, and it's going to be New York, and I'm going to be going. I haven't been there in like 15 years, so I think it's going to be, what is it, 40s or 30s over there. So I'm going to try to get a lot of my heavier fragrances while I'm
Mm-hmm.
there. So, but I might even take this one. It's pretty heavier, you know, than the OG. So
Right,
this one right
right.
here, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good for cooler weather for sure.
Yeah.
Very nice. Another great selection. Let's see. What do I have next? I think I will share a Cajon myself.
Hmm.
This one is from 1996, and this is called Aimez-moi. Aimez-moi from Caron. This is a fruity, tobacco-y, even though tobacco is not a note, but a fruity sort of like wet tobacco-y violet. And it was originally marketed to women, but I find it's definitely unisex. And it's just really good. It's really good. There's something like, if I'm gonna get into the weird kind of like synesthesia direction, like I feel like it reminds me of like purple tinted glass and yellow tinted glass together. I know that sounds weird, but I have this weird thing with fragrances. Like I just visualize stuff, but there's something really like golden yet violet about it. It opens really diffusive and then it dries down, kind of powdery, but not exceedingly so. It's just a very unusual fragrance. And there are newer bottles of this, but you could even get one of these for not too expensive. I think this is a 50 milliliter, but this is a great one.
Yeah, it's a nice bottle too.
Yeah, yeah.
I shouldn't have said I'm nervous. I'm cool. JJ's doing a great job. Skells is like giving me shit for it.
Oh,
But that,
really?
yeah.
Aram concentrating so hard, relax, man. You're doing fine.
So this one over here, I wore it the other night, and we spoke about this on Van Stream or something. This is explosive.
Oh God, I have explosive right over here too. I got to get my bottle.
This
Talk
is
about it. I'll
such
be
a
right back.
weird fragrance, man. Yeah, wait till you get back. Let me see the notes on this. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna tell you what's in this. It's such a weird, because I wore it, I think, for Halloween. It was like a Halloween fragrance. I said the hell with it. So I just wore it for Halloween. And coriander, bergamot, rose, orchid root, lily of the valley. Hold on, it says oak moss,
Mm.
oak moss, patchouli, vetiver, sandalwood, and musk. And I mean, look at the bottle right here. It's just like it has these ridges, these kind of
It looks like it could be an explosive. Like,
it,
oh
it look it looks
God,
like a
it's so good.
werewolf ripped it apart.
Oh yeah, on the side of it, right?
Yeah. So it's really, and I think it's still pretty cheap. Because I don't know how much it is right now, but you could pick it up, and this is definitely a unisex. I think, right? I mean,
Definitely. Do
yeah,
you know? I kind of compare this to a cross between Jean Couturier Coriandre and Van Cleef and Arpels Porom. It's just this dark gothic rose geranium powdery incensey chypre. It is explosive. It is a powerful fragrance. This is not one that you want to overspray. This is something that you want to just do maybe 3 sprays and you're good.
yeah. It's a powerhouse, man.
Oh, it's
Wow.
so good. Yeah,
It,
it's good stuff. Good choice. I love this. Do you know who introduced me to this? Um, it was Donna, a nose. She did a
Okay.
video with Sebastian,
Okay.
and they were doing, you know, the cheapies that have a quality that far exceeds what is expected for a cheap fragrance, and this is one of the ones that she shared,
Yeah,
and that's
it's.
why I
I
went.
think it's still pretty affordable right now. Funny you mentioned. Yeah, Sebastian was where I got this from when he recommended this one, and then the explosive I got from Jonathan 1979 and Taffy. They they have this one. They recommended this one, and
Yeah,
it's just so unique. You know.
Taffy has excellent taste as well.
Yeah.
All right, so that was yours. Let me grab another one here. How about? Anybody know this one? This is one of the earlier Cardin fragrances for women. This is Cardin de Pierre Cardin Eau de Toilette version. Can we talk about this bottle? Can we talk about, like, look at this detail? They do not make bottles like this. This is a bubble,
That's awesome.
and then the slope is a sick bottle. This is actually like way more masculine for today. A lot of these 70s fragrances for women were these like earth goddess fragrances with like a lot of green notes and patchouli and like real depth to them. And this is another example of that. This has this, like, to quote Rudy, this has a dustiness to it, but the dustiness isn't because it's just an old vintage fragrance. It's because there's this dustiness from the oak moss. There's a lot of oak moss in this. I know that this is going to give some people a hard on. The oak moss, this is like to the nth degree. It's giving. I have a little shadow in front of my face. Sorry about that. But this one is really good and kind of not that expensive either if you look carefully. And it's just a really textured kind of green chypre. It's great. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with this one. Look at it glisten in the light. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's fancy stuff. It's a very,
Beautiful
very
bottle.
reflective. But yeah, this one's a goodie too. I should do a review of it because, like I've said before, like I feel like I'm far better at articulating scent in the written word. So I owe this one a decent review. But that's Cardin de Pierre Cardin. I think this is from 1977.
Yeah, 70s.
Great. Loving the 70s.
Yeah, and I'm going to stick to the 70s on this one. I'm just going to try to look for some funky bottles for you, see if I could find anything, because I think this one right here is pretty funky. And I think I may have mentioned it before. This is Jovan Sport Scent.
Oh my God, that bottle.
This is probably one of the first sports scents because 1978. I think there might have been one before that from early 70s. That's a sport cologne. But look at the sprayer on this thing.
Oh my God.
See it?
I love it. That's
just
wild.
Such a funky bottle. It's
the
like
bottle is so
all this
cool.
is plastic except except this here's glass. And I have another bottle. You can pretty much take it off, but but this is how it came with this, and then came with some soap on the rope.
It always had to come with a soap on a rope. That's what it was all about in the late 70s. That it was everywhere. Soap on a rope.
It's like, look at the
Dusty.
It doesn't. Oh yeah, dust. Oh,
no, I'm an old person, so call me Dusty. Call me Dusty Springfield. No, it doesn't mean old people smell. I don't know what that means. It's all a matter of like personal association. If you can remove yourself from certain associations over time, then you will no longer associate older scents with older people. But furthermore, the more important thing is old people are fucking cool. Okay. I passed by older women and older men, and they were some really good perfume and fragrance.
Yeah.
I passed by a woman the other day. She must have been 80, and she was wearing like Jean Patou 1000, and it
Mm.
smelled divine on her. Like we could learn from our older people on good taste. So that's my 2 cents on that one. Yes, I have Cardin de Cardin, lovely clove. Yeah, it is very clovey. Mm-hmm. It is a really clovey kind of scent, and it does have that civet dry down for sure. I'm getting there. I am. I don't know. I'm feeling it lately. Look at all these white whiskers. Look at that. I didn't have those 3 years ago. They're coming in. And then there's some stuff coming in here too. And in there. Getting old. 40 love. Oh God. Wow. Yeah, yeah. Jean d'Après. Yeah, that one is a forgotten classic as well. All right, we have Rachel waiting in back.
All
Aram,
right. Yeah.
we're gonna bring Rachel in, and we're gonna add to the round
Let's
of
do it.
sharing stuff. Hey, do you like this whole arrangement of the three
Hi.
bars? Do you like this more than the screens? Does this kind of look cool?
It's a little close. I mean, but
A
whatever.
little too close. We're getting a little too snuggly here, Aram. I'm sorry about that. We could go like this. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, that feels more comfortable.
Yeah. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hi.
Aaron, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So we're just taking turns, each of us just sharing stuff and chatting,
Nice.
and we'll have you go next on something that you'd like to share with us and
Okay.
discuss.
Sure. Well, something that I've been wearing recently is kind of is a Tom Ford. This is Vert d'Encens, so green incense, basically. That I think there was a set of them. I think in maybe 2016 that came out of kind of green fragrances from Tom Ford. There was like green flower, green incense, and a couple others. And this is one that I really enjoy. It's a wonderful winter fragrance because it has like pine in it. It has, green incense, woods, some, aromatics. It's just really, it's like walking through a pine forest in cold, like, when it's really cold outside and you're walking through a pine forest, but then it's like there's like a temple somewhere in the woods where this incense is kind of floating through, and it's really lovely. It's a great holiday scent that's not obviously holiday, like the kind of obvious holiday scents where everything smells like fruitcake. It's not like that. This is a bit more elegance, and I don't know, I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
I like that one. I like what I have is Vert de Bois, which is sort of like a bit more of like the deciduous tree incense kind of. There's like poplar buds, absolute. There's kind of like this pollen-y kind of feel to it. I love that one. It has like the galbanum and green notes. It's very like green leafy, but that one's great too. That whole series, like the Vert fragrances and the Fougere, the two Fougere ones, such great releases from an otherwise choppy kind of hit or miss kind of house. Really great ones. Good choice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I need to try the other ones too, especially if you like them. Then I know JJ is always kind of my judge. If JJ likes a fragrance, then I know, okay, it's okay to try.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like an encyclopedia, he knows all about fragrances.
Sometimes I miss the mark, though. I don't know. I just think so.
Rarely.
I think sometimes I'm like, why in the world do I like this? I'm just waiting for the day where like somebody's like, what? You were just gushing over this. I don't know. But all of our tastes are pretty unique, but there's so much overlap, which is great. That's why it's so great to share with each other, and yeah, it's fun stuff. Aram, what do you have next?
I have this one here. It's Amarud. Let me see. How do you say that? Amarud. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
This is Santel de Indies. Let me see if I'm saying that.
Santel, I think it might be Santel de Zin.
Yeah. And this one over here, you see it? There it goes. What I love about this one here is that it has an incense and also absinthe top note, which was very interesting because I'm thinking, it's is it going to be challenging in Miami? Is it going to be too heavy? But it actually wears really nice, and I love wearing it in at night for date night and stuff. But it's a sandalwood vetiver leather dry down. I'm just here looking at the notes here, but the top notes which hit me were incense and absinthe, and you get that right away. And this is a really, I think, I don't know if you want to say, but it's like a sexy, sexy fragrance, man. I think this is really nice. I love it. Sometimes I just spray it just to smell around the house. But this is definitely something I'll buy again when I run out. And funny enough, Jeremy Fragrance recommended me this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. Well, a couple years ago, I went to film with him and stuff like that, and he sprayed it on himself. He goes, "Smell this," and I'm like, "What is that?" He goes, "I'm like," he's like, "It's this one right here. It's Amaroud, man. It smells good." I go, "Yeah, okay, well," and I actually bought it. It was like $90 or whatever. Really, I think it's worth it. It smells more expensive than $90. I mean, I think it's maybe going for a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I think but you know how much these are going for, right? About 110, 20 maybe.
I think so.
But I love this one. So yeah, this is mine right here. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Okay, I got to grab mine. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's actually right behind me.
Yeah. It's funny. I got this one. It's not one of the top 10 that he's always talking about.
And the reason why I want to grab this one is because I want to continue the incense theme. Because I love my incenses, let me tell you. And what I have is from Jovoy, Paris, La Liturgie des Eaux. La Liturgie des Eaux.
Nice.
I'll do this here. So this is the bottle, very chunky, solid bottle.
Those are, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, very nice stuff. So I love incense, and I love stuff that's coniferous, coming from pines, hemlocks, spruces, cypress. I think all of it's in here. It opens up almost like this realistic, almost sour kind of feel. It's hard to capture that coniferous smell in a fragrance without it kind of becoming a little cliched, like, oh, it smells like a Christmas tree. But this, when it opens, it's as if you crushed cypress leaves or juniper leaves, or just like maybe a potpourri, a potpourri or a melange. Maybe that's a better word because I don't want to, suggest that this smells like potpourri, but sort of like a mix of all these different like coniferous leaves and needles and stuff in your hand. And you're just smelling like the oils coming right out of it. That's what you smell at the top. It's almost maybe overwhelming for people who don't find pleasure in in getting intimate with conifers, with trees. But me, I love that. So I love that smell of just like just all of the essential oils and the resins, coming out of a tree, and it opens with that, and then it dries to this like really ecclesiastical kind of church fragrance. Like it smells like wooden pews. It's very warm, not terribly smoky, but it does kind of have that feel of like a thurible, one of those things that, that they'll be swaying, and you have like the plumes, and there's like labdanum in the dry down, and it still smells like traces of like sticky pine sappiness even down to the dry down. It's great stuff. So yeah, that's a recent acquisition of mine. I had a sample for the longest time, and I don't know, I treated myself to a full bottle of it.
Which one is that again? I'm going to write it down.
I'll put it into the chat, actually.
Okay,
it's La Liturgie des Heures. So, Jovoy, La Liturgie des Heures.
Your description is amazing. It's like going forest bathing or something, but in a bottle.
It is totally like Shinrin-yoku. When I wear this, I can feel like I'm in a conifer forest, especially for the first half hour is bliss. I mean, the whole thing is great, but the first half hour is it's just transportive. It's great stuff. I don't like a lot of Jovoy. Some of the Jovoy feel kind of like their version of something that I feel is done better, in my opinion, elsewhere. But between this and Jus Sans Fait, I can't remember the full name. That's another excellent one. Two great fragrances. Yeah. So this is my second Jovoy. I think it will probably be my last one because none of the others really, screamed at me saying, you'll love me. Yeah, good stuff. And that's fine. Nice. Put that down there next to my explosive. Imagine layering those two. Okay. Rachel, I think it's your turn.
My turn? All right. Cool. So my next one, I'm actually smelling it right now because it's such a complex fragrance that I love and adore, but I don't think I completely understand it yet, which is wonderful. It's rare for me to find a fragrance that I find pleasure in, kind of on a limbic or just physical level, and also an intellectual level. And this one is Sacred Scarab by Sultan Pasha for Zoologist. And I think actually people, or at least the people at Zoologist, are so impressed with it that later, I think next year, they're going to release their first Lilique crystal extrait bottle of this fragrance. Will be their first fancy bottle run, because it's so wonderful, because it's kind of built around this classic idea of a chypre, but it has these just so unique and interesting notes of, it starts off with a civet note, right up there, bam, in the top note, civet and aldehydes, just boom.
That's magic words right there for me.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Awesome. And so you get this immediate, just old school, like beautiful old school kind of idea. And then it goes into this wine and plum accord, which is amazing. And then it moves down into this resinous styrax, amber, myrrh, benzoin, incense, cedar, pine kind of base. So there's this beautiful animalic. There's this beautiful animalics that run through the whole thing, but also with these kind of old-fashioned or classic notes, but really arranged in a very new way, in a way that I haven't seen. And I think, if I remember, and I could be wrong about this, but I think I remember hearing or reading an interview with Sultan Pasha that said that his very original kind of inspiration for the fragrance came when he was at a dinner in Paris and he got to smell jetty, right?
Oh wow!
And I can see this kind of which is amazing, right? And so I can see this kind of I can see the link, I think, of that kind of dusty, kind of tomb-like, very unique. This fragrance is not like other fragrances, right? But I think it's more like an artwork, very intellectual. It's also gorgeous. But you have to like civet, you have to some of those old classical styles. And it's just it's beautiful. And I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it, but I like it. Every time I wear it, I like it more, and I feel like I get to know it more.
Right.
Where do you find yourself wearing that fragrance? Do you find it wearing daytime, nighttime?
Yeah.
To where do you? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. So I haven't worn it to work yet. I will say that. But I wear it at night. Yeah, usually at night. And I think the weather is just now starting to get cold enough where I feel it feels really good. You know what I mean? It expands in a way in the cold air that it's just yeah, this is it. I'll wear it Saturday night, Friday night to go out, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello there. Welcome.
Hey, Mike.
And this is a question for you, Rachel. When are you starting a channel?
Oh my goodness. I'm so lucky to know JJ and Duck and some of our other friends that have amazing channels that are gracious enough to let me come on and babble sometimes. I don't think I ever will, but that's kind. Thank you.
Rachel, don't let them pressure you, okay? They do the same thing to me. It's hey, I like being a guest. I like being the co-host or a co-guest or whatever it is, and just have fun with it. Because I'm sure you have a collection and stuff. You love talking about it. It's but it's it's a thing, you know, of pressure, and I'm sure JJ's feeling it too, of like content,
Oh my
you know,
God.
and it's like you got to get your video, the next video has to be better than the last video.
Yeah.
The last video needs to, and it's like it's a good challenge, but you gotta, you know, it's it's work. That's why I respect people that have that have channels, you know, and JJ is doing a great job. It's consistency is the hardest part. You know?
It
So
is.
you have a
It's
channel,
difficult.
right? Also,
No.
No
No?
channel.
No. I just just hang out. People
Mm.
want to have me on. So
Okay.
glad that JJ has me on. You know, yeah.
You have the right mic for it though. Like you have the fancy mic and stuff.
It's all like what's a smoke and mirror? It's all like it's what
A
is it?
great camera too. You
Oh
have
yeah,
a-
I do video stuff professionally. So
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
but can you tell me which fragrance that one is? I mean, I know it might be a little challenging for South. I don't know where you're living at, but I'm in South Florida, so it's a little challenging for the weather.
Oh, sure.
But which one is that one? The one that you're sniffing on?
It's called Sacred Scarab. Sacred Scarab by Zoologist.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see if it'll focus, but Sacred Scarab.
Okay. What animal does it have in it?
It has so it's like a dung beetle.
Okay.
The Egyptians thought the scarab beetle was sacred. We call it a dung beetle, but I think they went with the Egyptian name because dung beetle is not very sexy.
I saw the first Mummy. Isn't the first Mummy they got all those the beetles in, you know, and they you remember, right? 1999
totally.
Mummies. Yeah.
Totally.
Cool. So yeah, I see it. Civet, lemon, you know, I'm sure. Is it my turn, JJ?
It is.
All right. This is a love or hate. But Ungaro 2, and this one here is a civet citrus bomb with some vanilla, and a lot of people hate it, but I enjoy it a lot. And I don't know if JJ, you sniffed this. Have you sniffed this before?
Love it. I have it downstairs.
Right.
I've already stepped away too many times, but I'm sure you can believe me. I have it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's old school. I think from 1990 or something. It's really
92.
Really 92. That's right. This one over here is just what a lot of fresh citrus fragrances. If they're fresh, they're kind of boring to me, and they really don't challenge me. They're really not complex. It's pretty linear. But this one over here is nothing like that. This one over here is just it has that animalic opening, and then it dries down to like a vanilla, I think, right? Something a little bit, you know, smooth. A lot of people don't like this one. I don't know why. I love it. You know,
it sounds amazing.
I wasn't aware that people disliked it. I guess I haven't really heard too many opinions because I think it's brilliant. It's one of the most brilliant fragrances of the 90s. It's sort of like a 90s interpretation of what an early 20th century fougere is. It's really remarkable for this designer house to release something that picks up where something like Jicky left off. And actually the perfumer is Jacques Polge. So for those who appreciate Jacques Polge, I mean, this is definitely a perfume, a fragrance to experience. You have that certain approach, that touch to it. It's kind of funny that it's Jacques Polge. It's not very Chanel-like. It's more Guerlain-like, but it's gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, it's got a ton of notes. You know, it's what is it? Lemon, lavender, bergamot. It's got carnation, ginger, rose, and then the base is civet, vanilla, musk. With civet and vanilla, you never think, but I think Sticks doesn't like it. But I enjoy it. I enjoy this stuff, man, for real.
Aaron, what's it called?
It's underrated. This was Ungaro. The thing is that there's 3 of them. This is Ungaro 2.
Oh, cool. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I think it's unisex. I mean, I think if you can make anything work, in my opinion, you know, if you really, really want it to work, you can make. I think that my wife. Tell me, JJ, do you think that this smells a little bit just similar, just a tad, a musk revigeur, maybe a little bit, or no?
Because of the vanilla with the animalic muskiness, maybe. Yeah, it's not a stretch to say that there's a bit of similarity. Are you familiar, Aram, already with Jiki? Or do you know about Jiki?
I know about it, but I've never never smelled it
Yeah,
before.
you should try
Yeah?
Jiki.
Okay.
I'm partial to, at least for more recent versions, the eau de parfum of Jiki, and you'd really appreciate that. And that's probably the last time that you would see, to such a great effect, civet and vanilla would be in Jiki.
Okay.
And maybe to a lesser extent, its counterpart, Moucheron de Monsieur. Both are excellent. And yeah, there's something really striking about how Ungaro 2 would come onto the scene in 1992 and be so unlike anything else that was being released at the time. I don't know how successful it was commercially. I'm sure Anuj could tell us, but I don't think it was around for very long.
Yeah.
The only one that endured was the third one. The first one, actually, I've never even tried. It is the
Very
rarest of all of them.
Very
I
rare.
think
Extremely
maybe
rare.
it was
Yeah.
discontinued. Maybe that was the first one that was discontinued. It could have been a one and done where it
Yeah.
just wasn't selling at all, and they just halted production of it. So I haven't tried that one, but 2 is excellent. So wonderful choice. Okay, I think we're going in we're going clockwise. So next is Rachel.
Oh, are you not next? JJ?
We'll change it to we'll have you go next.
Okay.
We'll just have it go clockwise so that it's
Awesome.
easier to keep track.
Sure. All right. So, how about I'm gonna do something a little different.
Yeah.
I just this is a little sample, one of a little samples that I have from a house that I just kind of learned about, called Kelly Jones. Is a little picture of the bottle that I'm probably going to end up buying because I think it's so cool and so unusual. And the scent is called Mezcal Añejo. And it's a line. So this is an indie perfumer that I believe used to work in the wine industry somehow, but who focuses on alcoholic drinks. So she has a line of fragrances that taste like wines, that taste like a Bordeaux or a Merlot or a Chardonnay, etc. And she's doing this new line of mezcal perfumes. And so she spent time in Mexico with like a mezcal anthropologist, learning all the different varietals. And so mezcal has this really beautiful smoky note. And mezcal is actually related to tuberose, and so it has this like smoky kind of floralcy to it. And this one is añejo, so it has like that smoky note. It's kind of ambery. It has like a jasmine-y, leathery quality with a little bit of peach. It's fantastic, and it's quite unusual. The perfumer she worked with was someone at Takasago, whose name I don't remember at this exact second. I'd have to look it up, but it's really cool and really unusual. And I would just I'm interested in her projects, I guess. And oh, cool. That's awesome.
Good stuff, Ellen.
Yeah.
This sounds intriguing. I've been trying to find fragrances with wine notes or something like that that smell good. I haven't found them yet.
Right. Right. So, but you should try. So it's Kelly plus Jones. You should maybe check out the website to see. Yeah. Or I can send JJ. I owe you the biggest box of samples. It's all packed. I'm going to send you some of these with the rest of the things that I need to send you, which I'm going to do really soon, I promise. But
did you say Kelly plus Jones?
Yeah, that's what it looks. It's Kelly. Yeah, the label looks like Kelly plus Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like Kelly and Jones, but they use like a plus sign.
Yeah. Like this. It looks like this. So I'm super interested in this because there's a line of she has a line of these mezcal perfumes, a line of wine perfumes. And I've only smelled the mezcal so far, but they're really, really interesting. And I really like them. They're lovely to wear. So on supporting the wine industry, excellent. But so yeah, I'm
you
really
and me
interested.
both.
Nice.
Right? I got my own here. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Lily.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, it's really cool. It has this profile that is quite unusual to me, and it's like you really can smell the mezcal, like very much so, and
that's intriguing.
It's really well blended. It's really well integrated with the other notes, and it's quite new. So yeah,
sounds great.
I like it. And it doesn't smell like you're drunk. You know what I mean? Like sometimes notes can smell like, oh, well, I wouldn't wear that to work because I don't want to smell like vodka or like rum or whatever.
Yeah. It's been a long night. Long night, huh, Rachel?
Yeah.
I already have a problem with that if I
Raquel,
smoke
right? Raquel or Rachel?
Rachel, you got it. Yeah.
Rachel, okay.
I was just going to say, I already have a problem with that. When I do drink rum or whiskey, I smell like it the next day, even if I haven't even drank much of it. And
yeah.
Thank goodness I don't report to the office anymore. I work from home. Sounds like good stuff, though. Let me reach for my next one. This is Olivia Jacobetti composition. This is from Penhaligon's. It's called Elixir. This is a great Penhaligon's, one of the best. But sadly, and here I go, promoting the FOMO, it's been discontinued. It was discontinued, I think, in 2016, 2017, and it's kind of hard to find an affordable bottle of it. So I do apologize in advance. I will try not to hype this up too much because it's kind of pricey now. But it smells kind of like the most relaxing. It's like a Scandinavian spa, but with incense. There's this really great pine wood note that runs through it, and this I would say more like a trebly kind of rose, like not of a deep rose, but kind of like a lining of rose. Just a beautiful sheer incense fragrance. It's great to wear this time of year. There's just these facets of, some spice like nutmeg. I find nutmeg and incense, nutmeg with frankincense, they go really well together. And that's what appears here as well. And there's also an aspect of it that just smells like warmed up wood, like you're in kind of like one of those dry saunas. Just really great stuff. This is Penhaligon's Elixir Eau de Toilette. Olivia Jacobetti, who did a number of fragrances for L'Artisan Parfumeur. This was her one contribution to Penhaligon. Sadly, it was discontinued, I think, only 6 years or 7 years after it was released. So that's fine. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you love that you have it, but it's like every single time you spray it, you know that they no longer have it. You kind of feel guilty about recommending because it's hard to get.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, but it's life, right? I mean, we just have to appreciate the stuff we have right now while it's there, so.
Yeah. Dusan mentions two other favorites of mine, Vara and Ostara. Vara is this beautiful rose and quince scent. So for those who are not aware of the smell of quince, it is this tart, very lush and tart kind of fruity scent to it. And it's quince when it's been made when it's been cooked, because that's what really brings out the flavor of quince. You don't eat a raw quince. If you bite into it, it's so astringent, like your mouth will feel like there's cotton in it. But when it's cooked, that's when all the flavor and all the aroma come through. And it's just this, it really is captured in Vara. And then Ostara is this gorgeous narcissus scent. And it is accompanied by beeswax and orange blossom. Gorgeous stuff. I think it was Bernard Duchefort who composed both of them. And Ostara was sadly discontinued, but I think that there's still a few for sale on FragranceNet. So if you're interested in it, look at FragranceNet. I don't think it's too expensive. That was as of a week ago. It could have changed by now, but check it out and see if they may still have some. All right, your turn, Aram.
Okay. This one is Balenciaga Hohan Club.
Nice.
Have you tried this one?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
I think it was named Le Club at first, but then it became Hohan Club. But this one here is a beautiful rose like a leathery rose fragrance, patchouli, oak moss, and it's a beautiful, beautiful. I love the opening. With this one, it doesn't project a lot, but it is, but it stays around, it lingers, and but this one also unisex, but a little bit. I think it's maybe a more masculine fragrance, I think, but it's gorgeous. I love the bottle too. You know, Balenciaga, their bottles were great. I think this is discontinued, but they think they still have a lot left out there if you could find it. And if you love rose, or what else is in it? Carnation, and it has juniper berry also. I don't smell the juniper berry, but I do get like this heavy, smooth, dark rose,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just gorgeous. But if anybody likes old school fragrances like Ho Hang Club, and what else is what is in the neighborhood of this when you think, because it is kind of like a rosy, leathery fragrance. Could it be maybe Louis Pour Louis maybe, or Van Cleef Poiron maybe? I don't know.
So the leather and the dry down, it's a very Styrax heavy leather. So it's almost like patent leather kind of leather, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of the same kind of leather vibe that you get from Van Cleef and Arpels Poiron.
Right.
There's another one, Puig Sibirus is similar. It's in a similar vein as well. Good stuff. But I love that kind of leather that has that weird, almost like plasticine kind of smell to it. It doesn't smell like straight up plastic, but it's just on the verge of it. It's just a really almost, I don't. So if you know about Styrax, it's a resin from a tree called liquid amber styraficula. I think that's how you pronounce it, and styrene is actually like the chemical composition of styrene is similar to that of Styrax. So that's where kind of like the plasticky kind of smell comes from. Like if you smell it, like it's really intense when you have like if you have like the resin of Styrax, like if it's not diluted, it's like, whoa, how could this possibly be in perfume? It's just a little off-putting. But in these right quantities, it's just like this sort of je ne sais quoi that happens in a fragrance because of Styrax. It lends that kind of unctuous kind of like the smell of like the fibers in the leather itself. It's kind of bizarre. It's kind of hard to explain, but I pick it up in that a great deal, and a lot of leathery fragrances from the 70s and 80s. So.
Yeah, it's almost a little powdery, but not overbearingly. But in the beginning, it's almost like gasoline almost in the beginning.
Yeah,
it's very powerful in the beginning, and then it's just kind of telling me. It goes on, and you're like, oh, what is this? And the fragrance just kind of tell you, listen, just hold on, just give me a moment. Just give me a moment to just like tell you a story here, man. Because this here in the beginning, it's this whole like it's like an assault.
That could be the Styrax, a little of that. The top notes are almost kind of like gasoline-like in Styrax. So yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. Cool. That's a good one. And yeah, there's still plenty of them that are available. I think you can buy a bottle for under $45-$50.
I think 50 mil I think is going for about that, not too many 100 mils out there, but
yeah. Cool.
It's such a cool scent. And I have one that actually reminds me of that scent too. It's with that kind of leather and rose.
It's a bit of I think there's a
staticky.
Bit of a staticky issue on your sound, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Is that better at all?
No.
Maybe she wants to leave.
If you want to exit, and then I'll have you come back in. Maybe that will resolve it. Okay. Oh, somebody earlier mentioned another great incense fragrance. Woo! Hold up, let me.
Look what I got a sample of.
Grand Monsieur. Is that the sport version?
Yeah, the sport one. I got this one a long time ago and I ran out of it. It was really good. I guess it's just like the original, but just a little lighter. I've never smelled the OG. I know you have the OG.
Yeah, yeah, the OG is a wonderful fragrance. Yeah, Fernando, I love Passage d'Enfer. Wonderful. That to me is a uh, very stark incense, and it has like this lily note in it. It's almost um, funereal. It's not depressing. There's just something so stark about it, though. I love that kind of vibe. That's a great one. Okay, I'm gonna bring Rachel back in.
All right.
Hi,
Hey,
friends. Can you hear me
Hey.
now? Is that better?
yeah, it's perfect.
Oh, good, great, thank you. Well, I'm so glad that Aram, that you had Hohang Club. That's really cool because this is a kind of a contemporary artisanal little bottle that reminds me of that fragrance in the ways.
Oh, I didn't know you tried Hohan Club. You tried it before.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
okay.
it. Yeah.
Great.
It's but this one is called Black Leather Jesus, right? And it's got that leather, rose, patchouli, kind of funky, like gritty. This one kind of reminds me of like, well, at least for me, when I was younger, going to a club, like a leather jacket and like dancing, and you get kind of sweaty and that kind of like raw club feel, but it's Black Leather Jesus by 555 is the name of the perfume house. And yeah, it's got the leather, the rose, the patchouli, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of birch tar, some styrax, and it's so cool. It's got that, I think it's got that same kind of edginess that the Hohang Club does that you guys were pointing out. That, yeah. And it's really cool to find fragrances like that. Yeah.
Right. The bottle looks kind of cool. Is that like a label? It looks.
Yeah, it's a label. It's like silver and black, so it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
And it comes in this really beautiful leather pouch, and looks like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at the notes right now because I don't think it's in Fragrantica right now. But yeah, it's invoking sweat, worn leather, smoke, and rose.
Yeah. It's a very small house. Yeah.
Prof. Melvin mentions La Galop. Galop is much more of a leathery fragrance than Vara. Vara really exalts like the florals and the fruits a lot more. So the two aren't too similar. I have and I love both, but yeah, if you have a chance, try to sample Vara. It's excellent, just like Galop. Yeah, definitely. So the time is now 8:30. I'm going to just revisit the first impressions for a moment. This one, even though I used rubbing alcohol, it still reeks. I know I said that it was disqualified. It's not even in the running, but it's still there, and it's still rather annoying. Next, exceptional. What an unfortunate name. It's rather boring, and yeah. It's I don't really have a comment for it. It's just dried down to kind of something, kind of this hackneyed ambroxan kind of dry down, And I'm not anti-ambroxan. When I say that, when I point out that there's ambroxan, it's not like I don't like fragrances that have ambroxan in it. There are plenty that are great. It's just when it's kind of just used as a filler to kind of extend the performance of a fragrance, it's rather annoying. And then this High Times. It smells like an ashtray now. Yeah, it definitely just smells like an ashtray, which is not particularly exciting. I don't really want to smell like an ashtray. I like the smell of tobacco, maybe even if it's like lit from a distance and not irritating my lungs, or fresh tobacco. This doesn't even really make me think so much about marijuana as it does just putting my nose into an ashtray with a few squashed butts in it. So I don't know who's winning at this point between Exceptional and High Times. I mean, I find it funny that the name's Exceptional, High Times.
Yeah. Exceptional. That's a title, It's like, better be that.
Right. No, it's anything but. It's mediocre. So, yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any winner tonight, but we'll find out at the end. So back to is it my turn now?
I think so.
I can grab something. Yeah. The next thing is from an Italian perfumer named Maria Candida Gentile, and it is Cinabra. which means cinnabar, but this has no relation to cinnabar. This is a very old world style rose with ginger and other spices. The ginger really comes out at the beginning, but then it dries down to this beautiful powdery balsamic opopanax and benzoin. And the rose, it persists into the dry down. It's great stuff. And there's something kind of sparkling about it in the top note. Like there's almost like a little tiny bit of aldehydes that she put in, but not exceedingly so, just to kind of give it a lift. And there is a woodiness too. There seems to be cedar and sandalwood underpinning it all. And this is a great recent discovery. I've been enjoying a few of her fragrances. I also enjoy Citrus and Barry Lyndon. There's also another one that I have a sample of, Hanbury, which is this great mimosa flower fragrance. And this is beautiful, beautiful stuff. I sampled it at Pickwick's Mercantile in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which carries her line. And yeah, it's really great stuff. Check it out. Also, if you ever have a bottle of these, never pick it up from here because it doesn't stay. You always want to pick it up from here. I learned the hard way. I almost broke a bottle. Yeah. So yeah, Cinabra from Maria Candida Gentile.
Yeah, when you reach for them, you kind of know which bottles to pick up that way, don't you? So it's like
after a while, it's like you just kind of know. I actually put some of them in certain places knowing that, so that I don't do it without thinking. Like those are all the bottles where you never pick them up from the cap because it does not stay. It's pretty bottle though. They're great bottles.
Yeah,
great
I like that bottle.
Yeah. Your turn.
So I know that I've mentioned this before. Is Florida Mall.
Yeah.
I love this bottle. I love this fragrance. This is amazing. Eugene brought it up to me earlier this year, and then I ended up buying like a couple bottles, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's discontinued, but this is a beautiful fragrance. I think what Eugene said, and I agree with him, is that he said it was kind of like a modern version of Koros, and there's something animalic to it. There's something a little bit dank, a little funky to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a urinal sense, but I don't know, something in the I don't know. I don't know how would you describe it? Kind of in the, I don't know, kind of like in the maybe I don't know, odor scent. I don't know. There's something a little bit
like it's almost like a little bit perspiration like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your skin with a bit of perspiration mixed with like the orange blossom in it. There's a little tiny bit of like, the only way I can describe it, and it does not make it sound appealing at all, so forgive me. It's like a chalky sourness, but it just somehow smells really good.
That it's a soury that I think that I'm engaged with it, that makes it not boring. And that's at the Petitgrain, Neroli, because I'm thinking Neroli, what's Neroli? Like Neroli, it's not going to, be crazy. It's not going to blow my hair back. But then there's chamomile and basil. And I think
the
basil,
chamomile,
chamomile. And I think the basil might be the one that freshens it up a little bit for the weather in Miami. But I love this stuff. I've been reaching for this a lot. I love this, and this is something that I'll always have in my collection.
Chamomile smells great in perfume because it lends sort of like this dried flower quality with like these like apple facets to it. It's really it smells better than actual apple notes in fragrance. Typically, I'm like kind of on the fence about apple in a fragrance, but there's something about the appliness of chamomile that smells so nice, and you find it in such random fragrances. They're great. It's great in like incenses, and I think that it does kind of work well with like more animalic notes as well. So I can pick up the chamomile and the orange blossom a lot in Fleur de Mal. That's a great one. Also, unfortunately, another one where it's getting more and more scarce. It's kind of depressing, but I have like a little itty bitty bottle. Hopefully, will last. I have like a 30 milliliter.
Great. I love the bottles.
Yeah, it is. I want to get to the chat really quickly. We have a question here. I don't know. I am not familiar with this one, but I just thought I'd bring it up for the YouTube. Thank you so much, Jerry 08. I'm glad that you're enjoying our stream. Any thoughts on Chopard Miel d'Arabie? So Arabian honey. Notes sound quite irresistible. I love honey notes, but I'm not familiar with this. Are either of you? Have you heard of this?
No.
No.
Nope. Sorry.
I know that house, but I've never
Yeah, I
seen
know
Yeah.
Chopard, but
Yeah.
fragrance.
Perhaps I'll look into it and
Yeah.
report back. I'm doing a honey week next week on Instagram. This week is a woody fragrance this week, but next week will be a honey week. And while I'm doing that week, maybe I'll do some research on it. David Sylvian would wear Timbuktu. I love Timbuktu, and I love David Sylvian. I love his solo work. I'm a big music fan just as much as I am a fragrance fan. So glad to know we have another David Sylvian aficionado. Styrex contains styrene, partly why it's restricted. I just realized recently that the gumball tree where I played as a kid was Styrex. Yes.
Oh, cool.
So the gumball tree. So if you will be able to easily identify. We have a few Styrex down the street, and they have these distinct leaves that are kind of pointed, and they have seed pods that have little prickles on the outside, and they're round balls. So I don't know if you're familiar with these trees, like you've seen them around, but if you see one of those, they're often planted as an ornamental. And that same ornamental tree that's often planted in parks and along streets is the same tree that you get Styrax from. It's kind of interesting. I haven't tried Mugler Pure Leather, so yeah, I believe it though. All right, who's next? I can't even keep track. I feel like I'm Dan now, Mr. Smelly. He loses track all the time.
I feel like I just went with Fleur de Mal.
Okay, Rachel, your turn.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I've been interested in. I've been going through kind of a smaller house phase recently. By the way, Clandestine Laboratories, amazing. Y'all should, should check out Clandestine Laboratories. Film noir, one of my favorites. Silver. There's just a bunch, but check them out. I'll grab a bottle in just a minute. But another wonderful house that I just happen to have right in front of me is Cognoscenti. It's another kind of small artisanal house from California. This one is number 44 that does something kind of interesting. It's like the sense of smoke, like almost a forest fire combined with the sense of rain, like in petrichor, right? And apparently the scent artist was, this is kind of her experience of the California forest fires, and then the rainy season after that. And it comes together in this really interesting way, in a way that one doesn't usually, I haven't experienced in perfume, where you get this really beautiful kind of petrichor scent that opens it, and you really feel like, I feel like I'm outside walking through a forest right after it rained. And then you just smoke just rises up and takes over the fragrance. There's this really sharp turn in it, that movement. And again, it's a really pretty, beautiful smoke. But the fragrance really tells this interesting story. And the house is really interesting too. Again, a small artisanal perfumer who is interested in working with a lot of great materials and really having a unique point of view and really telling stories. And so definitely I would recommend checking out Cognoscenti. This is number 44. She does Danielle. What is her name? Danielle. Sorry, I'm kicking myself now. It's Danielle something, who's a perfumer. Maybe I can look it up real quick. But yeah.
Nice. I haven't explored that house, but I'm familiar with it.
Danielle Sargent. And she's wonderful. She does a lot of like more conceptual stuff that she'll enter in a lot of like the more like conceptual art fragrance competitions, and it's just really, really super interesting work.
And that one's a Fire and Rain?
Fire and Rain, exactly.
Got it. I'm looking at it right now.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Yeah. Good stuff. I made a little note to check that one out. Great. Yes, Penhaligon's always seems to discontinue the gems. They're also discontinuing some fragrances that they have been producing uninterrupted for like 100 years. So yeah, there's some moving and shaking going around at Penhaligon's, at L'Artisan, And it's really been happening since the Puig acquisition. Yeah, it's just seems like a coincidence that all of it started to really change around 2015, 2016, but it happens. Oh, I've always wanted to try Tralala. I've heard great things about that one. Tralala. Okay, let's pick up another one. I'm not sure if either of you are familiar with this. This is Check and Speak 88. This is the Eau de Parfum version. I have the EDT as well. The EDT is much more top note heavy and focusing more on the geranium. There still has a lot of the geranium, but it's a dark. I think it's dark. Some people say it's light and people just assume it's dark because of the black bottle. But I feel like it's like sort of like a rainy day kind of scent. Very rosy, floral, resinous, incensey, great stuff. It was originally the EDT was originally released in, I think, 1981. So this is actually a classic, I guess you could say. This is one of those older releases, and it was actually 1980. I'm just double checking here. But this is great. It's there's actually supposed to be like a frangipani note, like plumeria. So there is this kind of tropical floral feel, oddly enough, in the mix, which is sort of surprising. But yeah, I finally picked up the EDP, and it's a much more intense version. It'd be great for like really cold winter days. So yeah, check and speak number 88. An honorable mention, if you enjoy Eucharist from GOF Trumper, then you would really enjoy this. GOF Trumper, that's much more on the mossy end, while this is mossy, this is much more rosy and resinous. So that's mine.
I like the bottle.
Yeah, the bottle's kind of cool. This is the EDP version. I have the EDT version, which is a newer bottle, and it's all black. Like instead of this showing up in white, it's actually kind of like this strange reflective quality. You can only see it in certain directions. But yeah, this is a really cool one. Kind of pricey, but if you get your hands on a sample, it may be worth, dropping the money if you really like it.
Nice. I never heard of that house.
They have some good ones.
Okay, the next one. I mean, let me see. I mean, I brought this one up before, so I'll go with another one that's a little different, which I know the Aperture, because I like my stinky scents.
Mm-hmm.
This one over here is, I think it's what is it? It's a Castorium, is it? Aperture from Erlich Lang, right? Ulrich Lang. Yeah. Oh, ambergris. Yeah. This is black pepper, tobacco, ambergris, musk, vetiver, amber. This here, I didn't like it at first, and it's just something that grew on me. They have another. There are not many from this house. I don't even know if they still exist. But I remember I went to Babalu, I think the name of the store was. It was a niche little store there, and I grabbed it, and it's really, really, it's just an interesting fragrance, and very it's kind of it has the animalic from the very beginning. You're going to get that tobacco and ambergris blast, and it pretty much is Lanier the whole time, except there is that vetiver that comes in later. But it's my wife loves this one.
That's
also
awesome.
Very sexy. Also very sexy, very woodsy.
Super sexy. It is like,
right?
It smells kind of like aged wood. Like there's an aspect of it if like you're in the woods and you pass by like this. I mean, I didn't want to say rotting because that sounds like it's gross, but like
no, say rotting. That's not gross. I like rotting. Say
well, so some people are like, I don't want to smell like rotting wood, and but it's like
it's just so not boring.
Smell of decaying, the smell of decaying wood is just this captivating smell as far as I'm concerned when you're in the woods and you have that and you have all the stuff growing on it. There's like an aspect of that. It's like decaying cedar, and there's that tobacco, and it's like a really like here we go with the word unctuous. Like it's an oily kind of tobacco. It's like peppery, really peppery. the ambergris is all over it. Really musky. It just takes some time to just mindfully observe it when you first smell it. Because like even when I first smelled it, I'm like, what did I do? What did I buy right now?
Same
But
here.
then like 20 minutes later, I was like, wow, this is actually really, it's really captivating, and it dries into something so beautiful. And it's one of those where like obviously you're not going to, spray a ton of it on you because it's intense, but you spray it really judiciously and it just throws off your skin. That's just this beautiful woody, peppery tobacco scent with this animalic backbone to it. It's really good.
Yeah, this is something that definitely just grows on you. Because in the beginning, I was just like, what the hell did I just spray it on myself? And then I'm like, wait, let me see what this is going to tell me. Let me just be patient.
Yeah, and then you come around to it and you're like, wow, I'm glad I gave it a chance.
I was
brilliant.
this close to letting it go, and I'm glad I didn't. So
it's brilliant. It just needs a little time. It needs a little time. It's one that needs a little bit of patience and understanding. Great. I'm glad that you enjoy that one.
Yeah, when I saw you did a review on it, I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. It's the best from the house, honestly. The other ones are nice, but that's the one that was really the standout from the
Yeah, the other one that I smelled that I didn't buy, that it was Amver's 2, I think.
Which is nice, but nothing really, mind-blowing. It's like you smelled it before somewhere else kind of thing. That's how I felt.
Yeah, common. Yeah.
Your turn, Rachel.
All right, so for my next one, kind of want you guys to close your eyes if you want, but imagine it is the hottest day of the summer and you're standing by a pool and you get that like hot sun beating down on your skin and you can smell the chlorine kind of coming up from the water, and you're a little kid and you're sitting there with your bare feet on the hot, pavement, and you have an icy, like a fruity icy that you're eating in your hand. So you have the fruit juice that you can smell in the hot sun and the chlorine from the pool and a little bit of sweat, because you're sweating because it's the hottest day in August. And that is what this perfume smells like.
It smells like something, like I'm thinking of something that I have and love, but I don't even want to say it because
But it's the kind of thing I've been wearing it a little bit because, and I'll tell you what it is in just a second. But I've been wearing it because, like, how in the winter when it's so cold, sometimes you just need that reminder of summer and spring. And this because it's technically like a summer perfume, but sometimes I'll wear a summer perfume that has that solar and that kind of fruity quality that give me that little glimpse of summer that you need sometimes, This is by Clandestine Laboratories.
Ooh, Pool Boy.
Pool Boy.
Nice.
It's one of the limited, he makes like some limited releases. So that's one of them that I've purchased and that I really enjoy. It's really great.
Wonderful.
And again, just a really great, just kind of artisanal house to check out from New York City. And really, really joyful. Yeah, really wonderful. Really, especially right now because it's like 10 degrees in Iowa. There's snow on the ground. And I'm like, just the sun goes down like 4, so sometimes you just need that burst of like summer memories.
Right. No, it's good to have that at hand.
Yeah,
he's really somebody to look out for and to try out. Try his stuff. It's really impressive. I need to do like a proper feature on his work. I think I'd like to do
candles too, because I'm looking it up right now. Does he do candles also, or just fragrances?
Oh, I think he does fragrances.
I think just fragrances, but
yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I have a bunch. I have like Certo, Film Noir. There's a bunch. Like the sample set's really nice, so I'd recommend that.
Yeah, if he's still watching, he could answer that question. Maybe he may make candles in the future. But he deserves definitely more attention from the community. He's one of the, I'd say, up and coming independent perfumers to look into. So great. Okay. All right. What's next? All right. Look at this. This bottle. This is a Poppy Moreni by Poppy Moreni. Poppy Moreni was this designer. So this one came out in the 90s. And the only way I can describe this is if you soaked mimosa blossoms, like those pom-poms, into like coffee, and it dries down like into this really spicy, woody kind of dry down like sandalwood, but it's so cool the way it opens. It's like, so check this out. Like it has this, it's almost like a pen on the top, and then you can open it up. Yeah. This is really an unusual one, and it's not expensive at all. It is still, you can still get it for like maybe like 40, 50 bucks for like a 50 mil. Look at it's like a jellyfish.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's kind of like a limpet or something that would attach to a rock on the ocean. It's wild. But this is one of my favorite fragrances that features coffee. And I'm not a huge fan of coffee notes because usually on me, they smell too literal. And I don't really like the association to coffee to me is so strong because I drink it so much that I very seldom seek it out in a fragrance. But it's so well done here in a 90s way. Like, I don't know. Mimosa and coffee, it's like powdery, but kind of has that punchiness to it. There's like geranium in it as well. It's really a peculiar but enjoyable scent. Poppy Moreni. There. I'll write it in the chat. It's kind of an unusual spelling. Yeah.
I kind of want to check that out. It seems cool, and the bottle alone is like
with this cool. This little sassy little tail that says it says Poppy Moreni on it. See, Poppy Moreni, Poppy Moreni. Yeah, it's really unheard. It's nobody talks about it. It's pretty much unheard of, and it's great. Yeah, it came out in '97. I'm looking at the perfumer now, Martin Glas. Let's see what did Martin Glas also do? He did 1881 Men from Cerruti and Bleu Marine pour Louis from Cardin, Lapidus pour Homme. Rest assured, for those who have a difficulty with that one, it doesn't smell anything like that. But yeah, it's a neat one. I think that it's right for discovery. I'll put that in the chat so people know how to spell that. Poppy Moreni. Poppy Moreni. Not poopy, Poppy. Okay, there we go. All right.
All right. So I'm going to go with Burberry for Men. It'll be from 1991 right here. And it's a very interesting kind of, I think it's cardamom. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
And it's a very interesting fragrance. It's a little kind of heavy for the summers here in Miami, but it is a beautiful fragrance, very good quality, and I love, and since we're trying to look at the nice, cool bottles because they don't make them like this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, let's look at that and then look at the Burberry logo like that. It's just really beautiful.
Oh, is that like the insignia on the top?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I mean, they don't make, look at the logo. They just don't make them like that. Everything's just all different and blocky. And they took all that out from the new stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to figure, I know that there's a cardamom, and I think it's cinnamon, but this here is a beautiful, have you tried this one? Any of the Burberry ones? Cause I know there was a 1981 one, and then they didn't do anything until 1991. And then they did one, I think, in 95. But this one here is, there's also civet in this one also. So. Yeah,
I never tried the first one from 1981 is really difficult to find. It's like really expensive. That one I haven't tried, the one that you have either. I feel like I've been neglectful of Burberry as a house, not for any conscious reason, but it's probably unfair of me. but yeah, I don't know very much about that one.
Yeah, I had the 1981 version of it, and it was just something I didn't really like it that much, so I got rid of it. But this one over here, I'm giving this one a shot because I think it's a little bit more wearable than the other one, and the 95 version of it, it's just a little boring. I think it's like an apple fragrance. It's just there's not a lot going on this one, but this one here is very interesting, and especially if you love if you love like collecting bottles like this one over here. But but the fragrance in it it's really rich for sure. But I think I'm gonna spend more time with this one. So
Yeah.
yeah, Burberry 1991. What's up?
Would that be a challenge to obtain? How is the pricing for that if we were to seek out a bottle?
Let me see, because this one I got it about a couple years ago, and
Things can change in 2 years. I'm
yeah,
sure you guys are aware of that.
yeah. So I mean, right now I don't even see it available right now. So, but it is. I think actually right now, look, I got it $65, and this is for the 50 mil. So this is the 100 mil, which I think I got it for about maybe 75, 80. So right now I'm seeing one for 65, and but the other one from 81 is going for over 100. So
yeah,
but yeah, if you want to try this one out, I mean, I think this is worth taking a look at. I think this one's this is much more complex than the 95 version of it,
right.
So.
Might there be room in my inordinately large collection for a Burberry fragrance? We'll see.
Yeah. Do you have any Burberry fragrances or no?
I have none. Rachel, do you have any from Burberry?
I do. I have Burberry Her, and
okay.
a couple of the flankers, which is Kirkjohn, right? Who did that, which is, I like it. It's really pretty and nice and easy to wear and very like a compliment getter.
Alan, thank you. Please, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button. I fail to remember to remind people to do that. We've had a very good showing for this evening. So far, how many do we have? It looks like we have 39. So if we can get a few more, it would be greatly appreciated. I hate being a beggar, but just just click that like. It would make me very happy. Okay. All right. Okay, Rachel.
Hit the like button, people.
Hit it. Hit that like button. Smash it. That's what people say. Smash it. Yeah. All right, Rachel, your turn.
So speaking of perfumers, I did want to mention really quick, because this happened last night kind of while we were asleep, but the Francois Coty Perfumer Awards, which is kind of like the Oscars for perfumers in the industry, happened. And it was, the winner, let me look it up. It was Delphine Jelk was the winner, and she's the perfumer behind a lot of the Aqua Allegorias, right, for Guerlain, many other things. But she was the winner of the Francois Coty Best Perfumer Award. And then there was the honorable mention to Anne Filippo. And I was looking through my fragrances, and I do not have any of the Aqua Allegorias, so I don't even know if I've actually smelled any of them, which is interesting. So that's something, I don't know. Do you, JJ or Aram, have you smelled any of these from Guerlain?
I have one, Herba Fresca. I love that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then Anne Filippo, I have Synthetic Jungle, which I really adore. I don't wear it in the winter. To me, it's much more of a summer fragrance. But I just I wanted to mention that really quick, because I thought, oh, that's really cool. But I need you to get to know those two perfumers better. Anyway, the one I have next is Corpus Equus, which is a lovely winter scent. This is our son is taking horseback riding lessons, and so we're at the barn at least once a week. And this is usually the scent that I wear. This is my backup bottle. I got this out because it looks prettier than my half-used one. And it's by Naomi Goodsir, and it's supposed to have the scent. It's supposed to be a combination of the scent of saddle leather, which is like vegetal processed, along with the actual scent of the horse, like the animal scent of the horse, especially horsehair kind of a scent. Like if you specifically, she said, if you take the saddle off, it's kind of supposed to smell like the sweat of the horse's skin underneath the saddle, which it does a pretty good job of recreating, actually.
Wow.
So you have a beautiful combination and quite realistic combination of horse tack, horse leather, along with the animal, like animalic sense. It's really beautiful. So if you spend time with horses, or maybe if you have before but you miss those aromas, then this is a really great scent. It's quite lovely.
Yeah, I sampled that recently. I was really impressed with it. I really liked the dry down as well. I think if somebody appreciates something like Bellamy from Hermes, it's sort of a progression from that. It takes it to the next level, as you said, so aptly with your description. So good choice. Great. Speaking of Naomi Goodsir, I have been sort of vacillating back and forth between going full bottle on Nuit de Becali, because I find that one so enchanting and bizarre. And I love bizarre and enchanting scents. Just this very alien green kind of tuberose like I've never smelled before. Such cool stuff. So yeah, that's a really good house. Cool. All right. What else am I going to reach for? This is a marathon. Oh, okay. I think I will. Yeah,
we've shown quite a bit of bottles today.
Quite a bit. This is unlike any other stream, I think. I don't think any stream has been this consistent about one after another, and people are sticking around for it. We got 43 people tuned in, testament to the fact that we don't always need to have, tomfoolery and silly funny business and everything. You can just talk about fragrances.
Not until the last 5 minutes, guys. Stay tuned. You're going to hear a lot of it. Just wait.
All right. Well, we'll just spill it. We're gonna dish it. We're gonna spill the tea, as they say, in the last 5 minutes. You just stick around for that. We'll do that. All right. So this is Estee Lauder Private Collection. This is from the 70s. I love my 70s scents.
Love that bottle. Just love the bottles, man.
Yeah. So this is really good. This is from 1973. It was composed by Vincent Marcello. He was also the composer for none other than Caron Yatagan. But this isn't terribly similar to that, but it has the same, genius nose behind it. This is one of those lovely green floral chypre kind of fragrances. There is this pronounced linden blossom note. Now, you folks may not be familiar with linden blossom, but I'm sure you've smelled it if you've passed them by in the springtime. Wonderful smelling blossoms on the linden tree. They're also called lime blossom, but they don't necessarily smell like limes. They're not a citrus tree. And it's a polleny kind of green, sunny kind of smelling flower. You just know it when you smell it. And that's what it opens up with, that and green notes. It dries into more florals. There's narcissus note. There's this chrysanthemum, which is kind of earthy, and just a whole panoply of other florals in the heart. But don't be alarmed. This isn't a frou-frou feminine floral. You don't have to wear this with a dress. Men can wear this. It's very unisex. I guarantee it. Men would enjoy this as well because it has a woody, mossy backbone to it. It dries into this like patchouli, ambery, spicy kind of dry down. So it's a green chypre floral that anybody can appreciate. Now, as far as this bottle, it was originally sold as just private collection, but these days it's ode to private collection. I've tried it. It isn't really weak compared to this. It may be a little bit more sheer, but it's still really good. So if you have a tough time finding the private collection, pick up Ode to Private Collection because it's really nice. I don't think it goes for a terrible amount of money. So it still exists as Ode to Private Collection. That's Estee Lauder. Good stuff.
Nice.
Next.
Nice.
I like my whole next thing, like moving right along. Come on, get the other one out. Get yours out. Let's see how many we can do.
Yeah. Usually, how long do you run the streams for, more or less?
Until about 9:20, 9:25. And then we'll do a backstage for however long we feel like chatting.
So this one I've been reaching for. I spoke to you about it, JJ, a couple months ago, and something I fell in love. I I fell in love with again, because at first I thought it was such a nice one, whatever. But then I revisited it, and a lot of people say it smells like Azora Porom, but I don't think so anymore. Once you wear fragrance long enough, it kind of has its own identity. You kind of just start to just see it as its own thing. And I think that's what happened with this one, and it's creeped up to my number, like into my top 5. It is Aramis Tuscany, and I just adore this fragrance. I think it just works so well with me, and it's just something that I could wear pretty much almost every day, and it works great in my climate here down in Miami. So this one's a lemon, bergamot, lavender opening, anise, caraway, and then down there you have leather, oak moss, basil, sandalwood, patchouli, cinnamon, and tonka bean. I think the basil might be what's getting it like a minty flavor thing going on, where it almost, off the trigger here, it's almost smells like almost like almost like toothpaste a little bit. Like there's something minty here. There's something minty in here that I'm getting, or it could be the anise. Because I know we spoke about that too. So, but this here, it's a beautiful fragrance, much smoother than Azaro Porom. I love Azaro Porom. This is much more complex, much smoother, and I adore this one right here, Aramis Tuscany. The bottle isn't that unique. That's why I didn't bring it out sooner. So, but but the juice is great, man. I love
The
this
juice
stuff.
is great. And for those who may be curious, if they don't want to spend a lot on the older bottles, the newer bottles are about like 98% the same, honestly.
That's good
Like,
to know. It's good
it
reformulation.
really, yeah. So for those who, don't want to shell out the extra, you can get the newer bottles. That's what I actually have. I asked somebody to give me a sample of the older, and I was like, okay, good. I'm glad I don't have to get an older bottle of it. But whether it's an older bottle or a newer bottle, it is a fantastic composition, really great stuff. Yeah, excellent.
All right, I have speaking of green floral chypres, I'm going to pull out this one. This is Givenchy 3, Givenchy 3, and it is amazing, classic, just beautiful green scents with some hyacinth and some rose and some jasmine in the heart. You got your oak moss. It was made in 1970, so it has just this gorgeous 70s green to it, and I love it. When I found that Anuj had it, I actually bought like 4 bottles just right there. That's how much I love this fragrance.
Nice.
Squirreling them away.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, I love Givenchy 3. We have somebody in the chat who mentions another one from that era that I love, Alliage. Alliage is one of my favorites from Bernard Chant. Great one. And its counterpart, Aramis Devon, is excellent. Duncan, I am familiar with Blazer. That's a nice one. And it cheap and cheerful, too. You don't have to spend a lot to pick up a bottle of Van Klein Blazer. That's another good one. Great. Cool. Okay, let's see. I just have so many bottles sitting here, and I don't know which one to choose next. Oh, you know what? Here's an oldie but goodie. This is from Carven. This is called Maglif. So I'll tell you a little bit about Maglif. Maglif is one that goes a little ways back. This is a little bit older than the 70s ones that we were talking about. So this was released in 1946. So this is an older Chypre. This was composed by the legendary Jean Carl, who actually devised the Carl method in perfumery. That's how influential he was in the art of perfume making. And this one is a very old school type of Chypre, but it still smells gorgeous. Like this is a bottle, I think, from the 90s. Very aldehydic and green in the top notes. It has a certain bite to it. a certain green, stemmy, it's almost like, whoa, like really powerful green. And that's because there is a note of asafoetida in the top. So asafoetida, which is also called hing, is a type of spice that's used in Southeast Asian and Indian cuisine. It's very powerful. And it's like garlic without the bad breath and aftertaste. But it's also more complex too.
That
It's
sounds
more than
amazing.
garlicky. Yeah, asafoetida is really wild stuff. So it's used in like a homeopathic amount here, and it's still evident. And it's what exalts the galbanum. Like it does more than what the galbanum does in making this very yellow green, stemmy, weedy, reedy kind of like the whole plant and the flowers all together. So this dries into this iris and rose and ylang ylang, and it has this mossy vetiver dry down. It's just so green and grassy and floral all the way through. It's a classic. It is a true classic. And it isn't talked up as much as some of the others, surprisingly. But Mag Grief is one that maybe you should get your nose on if this sounds like, it's in your wheelhouse. Mag Grief from Carven, Pali. There you have it. All right.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah. It's not talked about as much. I'm surprised. It's one of those that I feel like is in sort of like the pantheon, like of classic fragrances that hit the scene in the mid 20th century. Yeah. That over there. Hey, Dave. Thank you for stopping by. You can go ahead, Aram. There's like an awkward pause. Like, you have my permission to proceed.
So this one here, I don't know if you tried it before. It's called M de Morabito, and it's this.
Oh hell yeah!
Look at the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
This was, and it's people say it smells like Furo, and it does a little bit, and it's maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit not as, I don't know how to say it, maybe less wet. But it's definitely Oriental 1989 animalic woodsy fragrance.
Right.
It's hard. I couldn't find the notes on this one, but it says that it's black currant, and I wouldn't doubt it because I think I do smell that. And then there's a peach, musk, sandalwood, civet, and amber in the base. So I don't doubt that any of those those notes are in this because it smells very kind of like herbal, spicy, and Oriental. It's beautiful. This one here, it's a beautiful fragrance. It's difficult to wear down here, but I just wait for the day, that cool day in Miami to wear this one. I think I might bring this one up to New York for the cooler weather, but this one's amazing, and it's pretty linear. Do you remember wearing this one, JJ? Do you remember?
Do I remember wearing this one?
Oh, I thought you smelled this one. Have you smelled this
one?
I
have it. I have it down. I have it downstairs. But you have the atomizer. I have the splash. Atomizer is really tough to find. You're lucky you.
Yeah, this one is a good sprayer, man.
Good that one's gorgeous. That kind of reminds me a little bit of a more animalic kind of like Mustacartier a little bit, because it is kind of like a little green, but also vanillic and Oriental amber in the dry down. Yeah, that's great stuff. And one of the most striking bottles. Just show that bottle again. I'll hold on a second. Let's get a good view of it. Show it off. Isn't that sexy? Oh my god. Yeah. That's one of my favorite bottles. Cool.
Can you guys put the name in the chat, because it's hard for me to understand Italian names. I would love to like.
Oh yeah, I'll put it in right now.
Thank you.
And this is from Pascal Morabito. There we go. Awesome. Okay, I'll get you off of the full screen. I'm like typing and just leaving you there like, okay, just do that for another minute or two. Thanks. That's true, Alex. Jean-Carl also did the classic Canu, and I have 2 of those sitting right here.
JJ, have you tried the blue one of this? The blue one?
I haven't, but the bottle looks sexy too, and I was wondering if that was if that was a good one as well. So yes, I have Taboo and I have Mistior sitting right here because I was thinking of talking about them. We'll see. We don't have very much time left. Yeah, I don't. Remind me, what is in the blue version? The blue Morabito.
I've never tried it. They're so difficult to find the
Yeah.
notes for it, and it's just very little's known from these and from this one. I took a risk and I just bought it many years ago, and I love the bottle, and I just kept it. I liked it better than because I liked it better than Joint, and it was kind of and Firo is good too, but this one over here I just loved it, so I just kept it.
Yeah,
The blue
yeah.
one, it's the Morabito Porom. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's the blue one, same bottle. But
yeah, that one seems kind of uncommon as well. I don't see that one really coming up all terribly often. I have for Morabito, I have that, and I have Or Black, which is otherworldly. That's like, I mean, there's nothing quite like that fragrance. It is such an otherworldly kind of thing. It's like it was a precursor to Fahrenheit. So it does have that heavy violet leaf, petroleum-esque kind of vibe, but think of it in like an early 80s context rather than a late 80s context. That one's pretty amazing as well.
yeah,
Cool
I just sprayed
stuff.
some right now. And I don't know, would you say that this is a red fragrance? Like, do you think the color matches what's in this? You know how sometimes it throws you off?
Mm-hmm.
To me, the red doesn't bother me. I feel like it seems like a red fragrance to me. Yeah, yeah, kind of. Yeah. Sometimes
go ahead.
Oh no! So sometimes it's like, why did they choose this color?
Yeah,
This is not the appropriate color for this kind of fragrance. But
yeah, I think this one they did it does. I agree with you. It does smell like that because it just like Firo, they nailed it with the red bottle, and Joint also.
Right. Oh yeah, totally. Rocco Barocco Joint. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have that red feel to them because they're just like passionate fragrances. They have this kind of like.
What about Giorgio Red? I don't want to get too far out there. What about Giorgio Red? Do you like that one?
Oh, I like it. Yeah, but I like that one a lot. That one is one where you could do well to seek out an older bottle. Unfortunately, the subsequent reformulations have not treated it very well. Yeah. But that's another great one. Rachel, your turn. We'll do just one more round, and then we'll kind of start to wrap things up.
So this one is a kind of a newer fragrance launched in 2022 by Arquiste. This is Indigo Smoke. Khalees Becker is the perfumer, and it's again a great winter fragrance where you have incense, you have a lapsang souchong tea note, which is really fantastic, and pine. It's just this kind of really cool combination I've been into lately of like walking through a pine forest and smelling some incense from, kind of drifting through the cold air, and then add here a cup of tea that you're walking with. And it's just really lovely, comforting, warm. It's a great, I think, holiday fragrance that, again, it's not obvious, right? It's not fruitcake, right? It's not too sweet. It's more elegant and more, that winter scene, but without being too cheesy. So it's really nice. Really enjoying it.
That's on my to sample list.
I will send you some.
Oh yes, yeah. You helped me greatly. Because that one sounds great. Yeah, Indigo Smoke. Isn't that great? Awesome. All right. I'm starting to run a little thin here on the stuff that I have nearby, but I think I can do one more here. Look at how indecisive I am, taking up everybody's precious time here. Oh, yes. Here. This is Diamela, and Diamela is from, oh my God, I'm trying to remember. It is that house that does the Yves Rocher. There we go. Sorry about that. I was drawing a blank. So this is another one from the 80s. And I picked this up on a whim. I saw that it was selling for not too much. It was selling for like $15, but apparently it's kind of hard to find. So it was released in 1984. It's a chypre floral, and it just has this smorgasbord of floral notes, woody notes, aldehydes. It's mossy. It's just really a well done mossy chypre. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Diarella, maybe a little bit of like crystal in some elements too, oddly enough, or quartz by Molyneux. Um, it's very peculiar. It's a really a nice one though, and it's almost unheard of. Um, and I think it was a little kind of like it was a little bit too ahead of it. I'm trying to think of the right way of describing this. Like it was a little late to the scene. Like I feel like this would have been more appropriate if it were released maybe in the late 70s, but it was released in the mid 80s. So that's it's nice. It's very nice. I should do a proper review of it. A cool sort of geometric bottle as well. Yeah. Diamella, that's my last one for the evening. Cool stuff. Yves Rocher.
Like
I don't know how. Are you guys familiar with Yves Rocher? They've had. They kind of like have like a high end store, kind of like it's kind of like L'Occitane or Crabtree and Evelyn in Europe, and they have really great fragrances. So, Diamella.
nice. No, haven't heard of that one.
Yes, and we'll have you, Aram. We'll have you do the last one for the evening, and then we'll start wrapping things up.
Well, I'll bring this one up. Also, very difficult to find now, but it's I love the bottle, and it's always going to be something close to me because when I met my wife, and we this reminds me of her when I wear it, and she always recognizes it when I'm wearing it. So this is Midnight in Paris, and this is the EDP version. I have a couple bottles of this. Of course, now they're going for insane prices and stuff, and no, they're not worth those prices at all. But the bottle's really pretty. It's got the constellation, it's a shame that it was discontinued. It's a leather, tonka bean, tea, incense, amber, and very, very, very beautiful for fall or winter, and it's lovely, and I just love it. I'm going to have a bottle of this, as long as I'm married to my wife, I'm always going to have a bottle of this for sure.
That's so romantic. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful fragrance also, but I love that story. That makes it even more even cooler.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's like I remember like it's interesting, Rachel, because it's like fragrances remind you of a time, right? It's like I think it's the closest you are to a memory is scents. But at the same time, you were talking about a fragrance earlier that smelled like an experience, like the horse and the saddle and everything, So it's like there's fragrances that are reminding you of other other experiences, like the beach or this and that, whatever. And then there's certain scents that just bring you back just from the sense alone. So, but this fragrance does it for me, with every single time I smell it, it brings me back 12 years ago, So.
Yeah. It does have that sentimental value to it. There's a real connection with that fragrance. And, we love a lot of different fragrances, but only a handful can really have that kind of impact. So that makes it all the more meaningful. Thank you for sharing that. That was a great way to round things off. Awesome. Wow, we really covered some bases here. I think that was quite a marathon run. We did that for about 2 hours. Excellent. So what I want to do next is do one last revisit of the first impressions. I'm not smelling this hand. That's been disqualified. I tried scrubbing it off, and it still remains that dreadful Bond Street. But let's smell. Yeah, exceptional. It smells kind of like Comet on my skin now. Comet. Great for scouring your tub. And high times. Yeah, I'm a little confused because I was told like, yes, I know that you like your classical fragrances from, days of yore, the 60s, 70s. There's nothing 60s or 70s about this. This is total like a now type, well, or now or like past 10, 12 years kind of fragrance, like, which is fine. I love fragrances like that, obviously, like my taste runs the gamut, but yeah, I would say that by virtue of being unique, and well, not really even unique, but being competently made, I guess High Times will be our winner for tonight. Not really one that I'll reach for because it's not really my vibe. I don't really want to smell like an ashtray, but I appreciate the concept. Yeah, so much for that. That was kind of a tough one. Tough three impressions. First impressions, very tough. All right. So, Tammy Midnight in Paris by Van Cleef, beautiful vanilla leather that is both dark and mysterious. Yes. Very sad that that was discontinued. I really thought that was going to be around for a while. I was surprised to find that disappear from the counters, along with a few other from Van Cleef, I remember, were discontinued hastily.
Yeah, I got this for like $60 12 years ago, and now it's going for like $300.
Jesus. They discontinued all the men's Van Cleef and Arpels. They discontinued that, the original Porom, the Sar. They don't even have any fragrances that are marketed to men now. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but what can you do, really? So I think we're going to wrap things up. You guys stick around for a little bit of backstage. And we'll chat a little bit before we get ready for bedtime. And folks, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Oh, one thing I wanted to share this, Tripler. I really appreciate your kind words on that. I did do a write-up on M. de Morabito,
Nice.
and it's much appreciated. Thank you so much. Next week, we are going to have Rafi, and he will be joined by Basic Malarco. He's going to be, the two of them are going to be with us, and the regular panelists will be to be announced. Got to still sort that out, but tune in next Tuesday, and we'll have Rafi and Basic Malarco, which should be a good time. And until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Your support is greatly appreciated. I extend my love to all of you, and we'll chat soon. Bye-bye for now. Take care. All right. Ending. Bye-bye.